If you're blocked in any way, you listen to a bit of Alice Cooper Keyshow. We have Alice Cooper here with us. Alice, thank you so much for coming on.
Just the fact that you know Halo of Flies.
Oh, I love Halo of Flies.
That's amazing.
I'm going to play Halo of Flies record after next.
Wow.
We're going to play it on here. We're going to give people a chance to listen to it. It's a great track, because it's quite a complicated one, isn't it?
It was very complicated. It was actually the only big hit we had in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And probably because it's Amsterdam.
Well, because they're smoking the doobies, you need something to cut through that haze. And they went, what is this?
They thought it was a short song.
Who is
like
Alice Cooper playing now? What is this?
He's Faja.
Yeah, there you see, we're both doing the accents now. That's what I like. You've come down to my level. Alice, it's nice to have you back in the country.
Thank you.
Things have changed. I remember when you came over in the 70s and you were being hailed as people thought you were going to eat their babies. It was just kind of ridiculous.
The other white meat.
Yeah, how ridiculous.
But we couldn't have bought better publicity. Leo Absey, Mary Whitehouse were our favorite people in the world. When you get banned in London, the record goes right to #1 and Wembley sells out, and you've never stepped foot in the country before. That's, how good is that?
But isn't it fascinating to see the way things change? Because, of course, you were, seen as this great demon figure.
But it was so easy to shock an audience then.
Well, what was the most shocking thing you did deliberately, provocatively on stage, do you think?
I think it was off stage, and we did it on purpose, where we stalled a truck, a lorry, you'd say here, with a huge picture of naked Alice with a snake on Friday at Piccadilly, right in the middle of Piccadilly. Stopped traffic in London. It was in the front page of the paper.
Fantastic.
And we paid the guy to make sure the truck stalled. Can I still get arrested for that?
I think so.
That was a long time ago.
People trying to get into security now.
Okay.
Just angry cab drivers who were stuck behind you for a couple of hours. Because Alice used to get his trousers off all the time.
Did he?
Yeah, he was always wandering around semi-clad.
When I wore trousers, yes. Back then it was like we would raid, sort of our girlfriend's clothes. But we could get away with that because at the time, I thought it was scary. I thought Betty Davis as Baby Jane was the scariest thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah, lots
of that makeup,
running mascara and all that.
That was the makeup we used.
Yeah.
So that was scary. And then we were called Alice Cooper, and we had a boa constrictor, and we had a guillotine, and all this. And that was pretty shocking in the 70s.
And occasionally a person of restricted growth on stage with you?
Yes, occasionally.
A munchkin?
Yes. And, we get too close to the guillotine, you never know what's going to happen.
I'm going to sing a bit of Alice Cooper to you now, see if he remembers this track. Marianne, I'm really crazy about you, Dee Diane. Remember that one?
Yes.
Wow.
I can't live without you, Marianne. Marianne. I thought you were my man.
Wow, we should go on the road together.
We could do that.
We could do you, me, and a snake.
Little
Come on,
cabaret.
what a lineup that is.
Yes.
That was on $1 Billion Babies?
That was a very early track, yeah. That was on, it was, I think.
Yeah, they were great albums. I mean, you're still...
Well, we recorded them here. We recorded $1 Billion Babies here.
I did not know
at
that.
Morgan Studios.
How big were you in your prime? I mean, because, you're still big. You're a successful star. There's no doubt about that. But at one stage, it was like you couldn't turn around without you being at top of the pops, you being, I would have thought the most sought-after rock star in the world.
We broke in England before we broke in the United States. And we always look at England as being really our second home. But really, we give it all the credit for really breaking us. We were voted #1 in the world. I mean, in 73, 72, 73, and that was nobody had done theatrics before that.
It was interesting because I don't think anyone had, not in that way, certainly had that.
No, Bowie then, came with Ziggy after that, and Elton suddenly was in a duck suit, and that was great. I mean, I thought that what we did was we broke down the door that said you could be a great band and you could also do theatrics.
And what was the thinking there? Was it just to give people extra entertainment value, or was it because in those days the sound systems weren't as good as they are now, you wanted to give it an extra edge?
We spent 85% of our time on the music and only maybe 15% on the theatrics. The theatrics came so easy because if you said "Welcome to my nightmare," well, to me it was obvious. You give the audience the nightmare. You don't just say it. You do it. So what you're doing is you're taking that stage up there, it's a blank canvas, and painting it and making it come to life.
And bringing characters on. Because, I mean, I've had a few nightmarish gigs. I saw a Lionel Richie live once, and that was, frankly, I wouldn't care. It was the Walking on the Ceiling tour. I would not care to repeat that. For your gigs, I've always found most delightful. I've seen you live, I think, twice.
Yes.
I don't think 3 times. I'm trying to remember. I know I've seen you do live performances at studios. But you're playing again live now. I can't wait to get to see it. It's the Monsters of Rock.
Yes.
And Alice is top of the bill on that.
Dragon Town. This one, we take you to a really bad place called Dragon Town, which is sort of like Blade Runner, Chinatown, destroyed, and you really don't want to be there.
I like the sound of that. And that's a new album. I didn't know you had a new album. They tell me nothing here.
Yeah, well,
a new
you got to
album
get out more, Jonathan.
called Dragon Town.
They make you work too much.
You know what? That's true. And do they appreciate it?
No.
Well, financially they do. But where are the gifts?
Where are the perks?
Exactly. Let's have a track. Are we going to play a track off Dragon Town or are we going to play Halo of Flies?
Well, you can play Halo of Flies, but it's 8 minutes 23.
There's nothing wrong with that, you know. If it's good enough for the Dutch, it's good enough for us.
If it is, then.
Well, no, we'll cut out early if we have to. This was #1 in Holland.
3.
Oh, maybe the Dutch were wrong about that.
That goes on for another 35 minutes, you know.
It's great, though. And you know what I love is that guitar sound you've got on that and you have on all the recordings of that period is so distinct.
It's old Fender amps with Gretsch guitars.
That's
the
what I
old
thought.
Gretsch guitars.
That's what I thought. Didn't I just say that to you?
Yeah,
the
you
other day?
did. You said the Gretsch guitar.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Fender
I
amps.
knew that. You've, I mean, you know, obviously performed for so many years, but with so many great people. Your own band, of course, but Detroit, at the period that you first came into prominence, it just seemed to be the most fertile place.
Well, they threw us out of L.A. basically because we were not Peace and Love. We were a lot more Clockwork Orange than, you know, Peace and Love. We ended up in Detroit, and we said the first place that gives us a standing ovation, we're going to stay. We played a big outdoor festival with the Stooges, the MC5, you know, all those great bands, Seeger and all those groups. And the audience, they stood right up, and we said, this is our home.
Iggy Pop in those days must have been some performer, Major.
He was the best. He was just the best. I mean, he would wear an audience out. You couldn't outdo him, so I always put a band between me and him because I thought I don't want to have to go after him. Okay,
a bridging band.
Yes,
but it was so strange because you then, I mean, you know, you got that rock and roll legacy and that past there. But then in LA, you've also got this sort of, I mean, you're part of the LA scene.
Well, you know, one of the great perks, which you don't have, by the way, because they're not giving you enough perks here.
I don't get perks.
You know, well,
it's almost like I have a perk-free contract.
Yeah, I know. You've got to get them percolating.
I occasionally steal a DVD from the competition pile. That's about it.
One of the perks was getting to meet. I had met the Stones, and that was the greatest thrill, and the Beatles, and the Dylan, and all these people. And wow, they were like, you know, wow, they're these guys. But then I said, I want to meet Groucho. I want to meet Fred Astaire. I want to meet the absolute Hollywood legends. And they would come to our show.
Hollywood royalty.
Yeah, Groucho would bring Mae West to the show.
Wow.
You know, and George Burns and these people. And they would stand there, watch the show, and they saw it as vaudeville.
Yeah. Entertainment.
And, you know, they weren't shocked. The audience was shocked, and they'd sit there and they'd go, if I were you, I'd move that over about 3 inches to the left. You know, you know what I mean? And I would go, I'd look down and I would see the audience. I'd look over on the left, there's Groucho Marx and Mae West, and I go, that's a weird dream. This is going to be a weird dream tomorrow.
You got quite close with Groucho. You were friendly, weren't you?
Groucho was an insomniac. And Shep, my manager, managed Groucho. When he was going through a really hard period, Shep just went in and did all of his books and said, here, I'll do it for free for you. Let's, you know, just out of respect for him. Groucho would call me up at 3 in the morning, and he couldn't sleep. And so I'd go over there. He'd have a chair sitting there with a 6-pack of Bud, and we would watch old movies together. And he would tell me all the dirt on these guys from these 30s movies. He'd say, see that guy there? Yeah, he's gay. You know, he's gay? That guy can't be gay. He's a cowboy star. Nah, he was gay. And they'd say, see her? Yeah. He says, Harpo and Chico both nailed her. You know? So he'd tell me these great... And then I'd look over after a little while. Cigar's still going. He'd be asleep. Take the cigar, put it out, leave. Next night, 2 in the morning. Alice, come on over.
That's a lovely story.
It's, you know, but he was great and sharp as a tack.
Yeah, well, he was. I mean, no doubt about it. He was one of the greats.
He could rip you to pieces. He was 85, 86 years old. He could still rip you to pieces.
Did you? He wasn't a golf man, was he? Because you are a number one.
He
golf
did play
man,
golf. He did play golf, but you know, early that was back in the 40s when he would play with, you know, Clark Gable and those guys.
S.J. Perelman and people like that, probably.
Yeah.
Did he straighten up for the golf, or did he still?
No, he was always that. You know, but brilliant guy. You know, the presidents used to call him to get advice. He was sort of a Kissinger kind of character with the presidents. Truman used to call him. Wow. People like that would say, what does Groucho think about this guy? And they would get his take on it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, interesting guy.
Really? Let me talk about your family. You have your daughter appearing on stage with you, I believe.
My daughter, the tradition goes on. Calico. Who's an actress anyway. So
what does she do on the stage for you?
She is my tormentor. She is in real life and on stage.
Yeah, this is common with teenage children and their parents.
She plays all the parts my wife used to play. She plays this demented nurse.
Right.
She plays this geisha girl that turns into this Chinese assassin. She's Britney Spears.
Fantastic.
She plays
now,
all
what
the
happens
parts.
to Britney in your show?
Britney gets a little too close to the guillotine.
Oh dear.
Kids and sharp
And
things.
you can't. If you've got a guillotine, don't run with it.
That's what, don't run with a guillotine in your head. You have someone's head off.
That's right. It's all fun and game till somebody gets their eye poked out.
And is that your lovely wife out there who came in with you?
Yes, it is. Cheryl, 26 years.
I'm amazed that she is. Actually,
Did she put up with me?
She's a beautiful woman.
She is.
I thought you came in with a high-class escort.
No, she is one of
She's
the
too
most
attractive to be
beautiful
your
women.
wife.
I know. I married her when she was 12.
Alex is still splashing out the money in town. Look at that. Yellow Pages, escorts, boom. No.
Hey, I'm no Robert Evans, but,
Well, congratulations, and that's lovely.
Thank you very much. 26 years.
Do you have any other children, or is it just one?
Dash is 17, and he has his own band now.
Ah, you see.
Why?
Now, have you tried to steer him away from that? 'Cause that's
No.
a tough business.
No, but he wants to do all Beatles songs, and I say that's a great idea. Do a Beatle band.
Yeah.
I think that's a terrific idea.
Everyone loves the Beatles.
Yeah. And nobody does it. Go
Yeah.
to high schools and play nothing but Beatles songs. You'll be the best thing in the world.
We're going to have Robbie Williams on the show shortly, and he was keen to meet you, so I'm going to ask you to stick around
I would love to meet Robbie.
and say
That's
hello
great.
to him. And,
Yes.
put him in his place.
Okay.
I think he's getting a bit too big for his britches.
Really?
Okay. Let's face it. Who is he?
Could I borrow some money from him?
You could probably borrow some.
I heard he just signed some huge contract.
I'm first in line for the perks. Okay.
I just want to follow behind him and see what drops out of his pocket.
What are we going to play now?
That's a bit of Robbie. This is the single.
Lovely.
Feel.
Robbie Williams, fine young fellow, but we've just heard he's stuck in traffic. So, Alice, I don't know whether you'll get to meet him today.
I'm a little hurt.
I think he'll be more upset than you, though, frankly. I think
I might be seeing him. I might be seeing him at the later on. I'll be here in England. Yeah.
Well, you're gigging tonight, aren't you? I believe you're at the Wembley Arena this evening.
We are at Wembley,
This
yes.
is the Monsters of Rock tour. This will be the only UK dates for some of the people on the bill with you. Then you're going to the Brighton Centre, Bournemouth International Centre, Manchester Arena, Newcastle Arena, Glasgow SECC, the Birmingham NEC, Cardiff International Arena, and finishing up at the Sheffield Arena at the end of this
Sounds like
one.
a lot of work, doesn't it?
That sounds like a lot of nice. You want to take a few days off?
Nah, I got 5 in a row there.
Will you be playing golf while you're over here?
No. Christmas shopping.
Oh, that's a good thing.
I'll be Christmas shopping.
But won't you be whizzing up to St Andrews for a little bit of...
Well, you want to.
Yeah,
you know.
I think you're tempted now.
Yeah, now that you've brought it up.
That. The beautiful, the sound of the bagpipers in the morning, the fresh air, they bring you pheasants on toast or something.
Oh, that sounds really
Then
good.
you've got the club in your hand and you go out and whack a ball.
Take a boa constrictor out there, let him go.
Yeah, but do people, presumably they still think that you are going to do something a bit
Yeah,
like
they're
that?
especially, golf is different in Europe than it is, especially in England, than it is in the States. In the States, it's very common.
Well, here it's become a showbiz game. It used to be a kind of upper-class game, I feel,
Yeah.
and now it's becoming a showbiz game also.
Yeah, I think the first time I played St. George's Hill, they were a little worried that I might be bringing the makeup and the guillotine and all that stuff. And I was going, the guillotine weighs about 2,000 pounds. It's really not mobile.
It's not a real guillotine, though, is
Yeah.
it?
It's a 40-pound blade. It is.
Wow.
It only misses me by about 4 inches.
That sounds foolish to me. Why don't you get a paper mache one?
Nah, because you got to add a little danger. It's rock and roll.
Alice,
You know?
Alice,
Yeah.
listen to me. That's silly.
I sharpen it.
You don't need a real guillotine, okay? It's just an effect.
But I know. If I know it's paper mache, then I won't look as afraid.
I suppose if it was paper mache and it kind of like halfway down, just
Yeah.
sort of like fell over.
It would lose the whole.
If someone breaks wind, it falls over. That kind of kills the illusion, doesn't it?
Or it's blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have that.
What do you still like about performing? I mean, presumably you like being there and communicating with an audience, but what gets you going when you're on stage?
Well, anytime you hit the first chord to 18 or school's out and the audience just,
Great
you
track.
get this rush.
Yeah.
And I would always think, I can't do school's out one more time. The moment it hits and the audience goes up, you can't beat that.
You don't
can't
need a
beat that.
guitarist. I'll come and do it with
I
you.
know. And actually, you do it a
acapella.
little better than my guitar player. Wow, you have sustain on that, too.
Yeah, but you know what? I've taken the skin off the back of my throat. Did I say I was 42? I forgot. I was going to say there was something of burning importance I want to say to you, and it's gone. It's left my head, and I'm cross, and now we might meet again for years, and then I'll have forgotten again. I'm really getting cross myself.
Wow.
Give us a minute. Hold
You'll
on.
think of it.
Hold on.
Okay. No, that wasn't it.
No, that wasn't even a minute you gave me then. You're impatient to go so you can get on stage at Wembley Arena. I understand that. Alice, I suspect that Robbie's making his way in. It doesn't look like you two are going to get to meet today.
Well,
it's a great shame. You will get to meet in the... I know you're...
Celebrity death match.
Yeah, I know you're an admirer of his.
Yes, I am.
As he is of yours, very much so. Alice Cooper's got a new album as well. It's called Dragon Town. We haven't played a track from it yet. We're going to play a track right now as Alice leaves. The track is going to be called Triggerman. Alice, really, sincerely, I hope you know I am a genuine fan of yours.
Anybody that knows Halo of Flies, I was sold the minute you said that. You had me at Halo of Flies.
Good pun there for the Jerry Maguire fans. I was actually on a cruise where I played a lot of bingo. Bear with me, this goes somewhere. And we went down, and the person calling the bingo wanted to shout out, "Show me the money." He said, "Shout out the thing from Jerry Maguire." And I couldn't remember what it was. And I was shouting out, "You had me at hello." Several overweight Americans looking at me with disdain. Alice Cooper is leaving the building, ladies and gentlemen. If you get a chance to catch him live, please do. The new album is Dragon Town. It's out right now. Alice, thank you so much.
And it's great to be home.
Take care.